Ladies and gentlemen, your purpose is not random. The life you are meant to lead isn't an accident or a gamble. It is patterned with intention, direction, and a unique design that waits for you to grow into it. Many people move through life thinking they have to invent their value, create meaning from scratch, or somehow stumble into significance. But the truth is, the core of your potential already exists within you, and your responsibility is not to create your path out of thin air, but to discover it through awareness, effort, and alignment. This discovery process is often misunderstood. We're conditioned to believe that success is about hustling in every direction, trying every opportunity, knocking on every door until one finally opens. But in reality, not all doors are meant for you. Not all paths lead to your highest contribution. Chasing every opportunity can become a distraction if you're not first clear on who you are becoming. You don't need to force a path that isn't aligned with your identity. When you know who you are, your purpose becomes less about chance and more about clarity. Consider this: if something is already yours in potential, your job is not to prove your worthiness for it. It's to prepare yourself to receive it. The door you're looking for doesn't need to be built from scratch. It already exists, but it only opens when the person you are becoming matches the level of the opportunity. That means that your energy is best spent not in trying to make something happen externally, but in developing internally your habits, your mindset, your discipline, and your direction. The more you grow into your potential, the more the path reveals itself. The right door doesn't appear because you chase it. It appears because you're aligned with it. Think about how many times people chase the wrong things out of urgency, fear, or comparison. They see someone else's success and try to replicate it, assuming that their door must look the same. But purpose doesn't work that way. You can't copy someone else's design and expect it to fit your life. What is made for them will never fully satisfy you, and what is made for you will never fully be understood by them. Your role is to stop asking what's working for others and start asking what's truly aligned for you. That takes courage, it takes patience, and it takes faith, not in an external force, but in the process of growth, in your preparation, in your inner compass that tells you when something feels right and when it doesn't. You have to believe that you are not placed here to drift endlessly without direction, but rather to grow into the awareness of a door that already exists, waiting for your arrival. That door may not look like what others expected. It may be smaller, quieter, or off the beaten path, but if it fits you, if it stretches you, challenges you, and grows you, it's the one you're meant to walk through. So how do you find this door? You listen to the patterns in your life. What do you keep coming back to? What energizes you without effort? What problems are you naturally drawn to solve? These clues aren't coincidences. They are signals that point to your purpose. They are part of the architecture of the door already set aside for you. But they only make sense when you stop running in all directions and begin to focus inward. The longer you spend trying to open every door, the more exhausted you become. That's because your energy isn't infinite, and neither is your time. But when you begin to center yourself, to reflect, to grow intentionally, you start seeing patterns you missed before. You realize that many doors you thought were failures were actually detours leading you closer to alignment. You begin to understand that your path was never about luck. It was about learning who you are, refining what matters, and walking with confidence toward what already belongs to you in potential. Your purpose isn't a puzzle you solve in a single moment. It's a lifelong unfolding, but what makes it powerful is the realization that it was never random. You were made with direction, and your life is the process of discovering that direction through intentional living. The door you're meant to walk through isn't waiting for you to be perfect. It's waiting for you to be ready. And readiness is not about knowing everything. It's about being willing to grow, to stay the course, and to believe that your clarity will guide you exactly where you need to go. The right door opens when you're ready. That statement may sound simple, but its depth holds a truth that can shift the way you view timing, preparation, and opportunity. One of the greatest sources of frustration in life is feeling like you're prepared for something, yet the opportunity doesn't show up when you want it. But readiness is not about how eager you feel, it's about who you've become. The door meant for you doesn't respond to impatience, it responds to alignment. We often assume that opportunity should arrive on our timeline. If we've worked hard for a few months or shown dedication for a period of time, we believe the reward should follow. But life doesn't operate on emotional timelines. Life opens doors when you're internally prepared to handle what lies on the other side. That preparation isn't just about talent or ambition. It's about maturity, resilience, focus, and clarity. The very things you gain when you commit to the process rather than the prize. Many people try to force their way into doors they are not yet equipped to manage. They may want the position, the spotlight, the recognition, or the responsibility. But if they haven't developed the emotional strength, self-discipline, or clarity to sustain it, it becomes a burden instead of a breakthrough. That's why timing matters. Opportunity that arrives too early can feel like failure, but opportunity that arrives at the right time transforms everything, because you're not just excited, you're prepared. Preparation is invisible. That's why it's often undervalued. The world celebrates results, but real success is built in silence, during the seasons when no doors seem to be opening and no one is clapping. These are the moments where you sharpen your skills, discipline your habits, define your values, and clarify your vision. The world may not see this growth, but it shapes your capacity to carry the weight of the door that is already marked for you. Readiness isn't about perfection. It's not about waiting until you feel 100% confident. It's about consistency. It's about showing up every day, even when the reward isn't immediate. It's about training your mind to be focused, your habits to be intentional, and your actions to be aligned with the version of you that can handle more. That's the version of you that opportunity is looking for. Doors open for the prepared, not the passive. You don't earn readiness in theory. You earn it in practice. You can't rush the process. Growth has a rhythm, and that rhythm often includes waiting. But waiting isn't passive, it's strategic. It's an opportunity to refine your approach, learn from your past, and align with a deeper purpose. When you embrace the wait as preparation rather than punishment, you realize that every delay is developing a version of you that will not only recognize the right door, but be able to thrive once you walk through it. Many people confuse activity with progress. They stay busy, always moving, always searching for the next opportunity. But motion without direction is exhausting. It creates the illusion of momentum while distracting you from true growth. Readiness requires stillness, focus, and intentional work, especially on the things no one else sees. It means improving your mindset, expanding your emotional intelligence, and creating inner order before you try to influence the external world. There's a reason the door hasn't opened yet, and that reason isn't rejection, it's refinement. You're being sharpened, not stalled. You're being developed, not denied. The process you're going through now is not a detour. It's direct preparation for something more aligned, more demanding, and more impactful. And when that door opens, and it will, you'll realize why it didn't open a second sooner. You'll see that the delay was protection. That time was on your side. That readiness mattered more than recognition. So instead of asking, "When will the opportunity come?" ask, "Who do I need to become?" Because the answer to that question will shape the quality of the doors that appear. The world responds to readiness, people invest in it, systems reward it, opportunities seek it, and when you're ready, not when you're desperate or impatient, but truly prepared, you won't have to chase the door. It will appear in the right way at the right time because you've aligned with it. The right door doesn't just need your ambition, it needs your evolution, and if you stay committed to becoming the person who's ready, the opportunity meant for you won't pass you by. It will open effortlessly because it was always yours. You simply needed to become the version of yourself who could walk through it. Not every door is yours to walk through. In a world full of endless choices, opportunities, and distractions, this is a truth that can protect your energy, sharpen your focus, and elevate your growth. Just because a door is open doesn't mean it's meant for you. Just because an opportunity is appealing doesn't mean it aligns with your purpose. In fact, one of the most important skills you can develop is the ability to discern between what is merely available and what is actually aligned. We live in a culture that glorifies more options, more chances, more movement. But without clarity, more options can lead to more confusion. Every open door requires your time, attention, and energy. And if you walk through the wrong door, you pay a price, not just in time lost, but in the energy you could have invested in the right direction. The cost of distraction is not always immediate, but it is always significant. It takes wisdom to pause and ask, is this for me? Not every job, relationship, collaboration, or idea is meant to be pursued. Some are detours in disguise, opportunities that look good on the surface, but ultimately pull you away from your true direction. And often these doors show up when you are most vulnerable, when you are tired, uncertain, impatient, or comparing yourself to others. That's why self-awareness is your greatest asset. When you know who you are and where you're going, you can say no without guilt and yes without hesitation. Learning to say no is a discipline. It's not about being arrogant or dismissive. It's about protecting your alignment. Walking through every door just because it's open is like eating every food just because it's served. It doesn't mean it's good for you. Alignment is what makes an opportunity valuable. And alignment is discovered when you ask better questions. Does this support my long-term growth? Does this reflect my values? Does this move me closer to the vision I've committed to? Too often, people chase what's trending, what's popular, or what seems urgent. But just because a door has buzz or momentum doesn't mean it's healthy. Many doors are designed to look attractive while slowly draining your focus. You may gain attention but lose peace. You may make progress, but lose direction. That's why it's critical to evaluate doors not by how easy they are to walk through, but by how well they align with who you are becoming. The more grounded you are in your identity, the easier it is to make decisions with clarity. You stop guessing yourself. You stop needing external validation, and you begin to trust your internal compass. That internal compass sharpens with time, discipline, and reflection. It grows stronger every time you take a step in alignment, even if it means turning away from something that looks exciting but doesn't feel right. Some doors will tempt you with quick wins. Others will promise status, money, or approval. But if those things come at the cost of your values, your peace, or your direction, they're not wins at all. They are distractions wrapped in opportunity. It takes maturity to walk away from something that seems good in order to protect what is truly right. But that is what separates people who live by reaction from those who live by purpose. You don't have to prove yourself by trying everything. You prove yourself by knowing what's worth your time. When you walk through a door that isn't yours, it delays the growth that's meant to come through the door that is. Every time you say yes to something unaligned, you say no to something potentially life-changing. That's why discernment is not a luxury, it's a necessity. The truth is, some doors were never meant to be opened by you, no matter how much effort you apply. That doesn't mean you're not good enough. It means that your door, the one that fits your skills, your character, your calling, requires you to stay focused. And focus means you'll have to walk past many open doors that don't belong to you. At first, that might feel like you're missing out, but in time you'll realize you're leveling up, you're refining your direction, you're developing the discipline to say, "That's not my door," and to keep moving with clarity. That's how you build a life that's not just filled with opportunities, but built on alignment. Not every door is yours, and that's the point. You only need one, the right one. Delay is not denial, it's directional. One of the most common misinterpretations we make in life is thinking that if something takes longer than we expected, or doesn't happen when we wanted, it must mean it's not meant for us. But that's not how growth, timing, or meaningful progress works. Delays aren't always a sign of rejection. Often they are redirections, intentional pauses designed to shape us, guide us, or protect us from something we can't yet see. When we experience delay, our instinct is to push harder or to question our path. But what if the pause wasn't punishment? What if it was a part of the process that ensures we're not just arriving somewhere, but arriving ready? Because readiness isn't just about desire, it's about development. And sometimes the delay is the development. Sometimes the things we think are holding us back are actually holding us together, building resilience, sharpening our vision, and giving us the tools to handle what we're asking for. There's a natural frustration that comes with waiting. We're wired to want results quickly, especially when we've invested time and effort. But patience doesn't mean passivity. Waiting is not wasted time when you use it wisely. It becomes a season of preparation, reflection, and realignment. The delay is often the space where you gain the clarity to distinguish between what you want and what you're actually meant for. It's easy to interpret silence or slowness as a closed door, especially when we live in a culture obsessed with speed. But fast results are not always lasting results. A door that opens too early can lead to struggle instead of success if you're not prepared. Think about how many people have rushed into opportunities only to find themselves overwhelmed, unfulfilled, or misaligned. They mistook early access for timing and paid the price with burnout or regret. Delays force us to look inward. They ask us uncomfortable but necessary questions. What are you still holding on to that you need to release? What skills do you still need to develop? What mindset needs to evolve before you can handle the next level? Without delay, we might skip the answers. We might rush ahead into something we're not truly ready for. But when we pause, we gain perspective. We learn to trust the path, not because it's always clear, but because it's always intentional. Direction comes from reflection. If life gave you everything you asked for instantly, you wouldn't take the time to consider whether it's truly aligned. You might confuse short-term pleasure for long-term purpose. But delays teach you to think deeply, to wait strategically, and to trust a bigger picture than what you can see in the moment. Often, when we look back, the delays we once hated become the reasons we succeeded. They kept us from settling, they kept us growing. One of the greatest strengths you can develop is the ability to stay grounded during delays, to keep showing up even when there's no applause, to keep building even when no one is watching. Because the person who keeps building in silence becomes the one who thrives in the spotlight, not by accident, but by consistency. That's the reward of direction. It shapes your character, not just your calendar. Letting go of the belief that delay equals denial frees you from anxiety. It removes the pressure to rush and the fear of missing out. It lets you settle into a deeper kind of confidence, the kind that says, if it's meant for me, it will align with me when I'm ready. That mindset doesn't lead to laziness. It leads to excellence because you use the delay to prepare for the opportunity you believe is coming. Every delay carries a message. Sometimes it's not yet, not never. Sometimes it's learn this first, or heal from that, or build your foundation. If you ignore the message, the delay becomes frustration. But if you listen, it becomes formation. You begin to see that the pause was never wasted. It was purposeful, And when the right moment comes, it won't just feel right. It will be right because you will have grown into it. So the next time a door doesn't open when you knock, or a result takes longer than you hoped, remember, delay is not a detour away from your destiny. It's the path toward your true direction. The timeline may not match your expectations, but it's not random. The delay is guiding you, not away from something, but towards something better, something deeper, something more aligned with who you're becoming. You don't need every key, just the right one. In a world full of opportunities, ideas, connections, and strategies, it's easy to believe that success is about collecting as many keys as possible. More degrees, more contacts, more skills, more options. But the truth is, life isn't about unlocking every door, it's about finding the door that was already designed to fit your unique strengths, values, and path. And for that door, you don't need everything. You just need alignment. We're taught to believe that accumulation is the goal. Gather enough keys, achievements, experiences, recognition, and eventually one will work. But this mindset can lead to exhaustion, confusion, and even discouragement. Trying to fit into every opportunity, chase every trend, or master every skill isn't sustainable, and more importantly, it's not strategic. It spreads your energy thin and keeps you in a cycle of searching rather than becoming. The most effective people in life are not the ones who know everything. They're the ones who know themselves. They understand what makes them different, what energizes them, what problems they are uniquely equipped to solve. And with that self-awareness, they stop trying to collect every key and instead focus on sharpening the one that fits. That's where your power is, not in versatility for the sake of it, but in focused preparation for your specific path. Think about how many people spend years trying to force doors open. They build careers in areas they're not passionate about. They chase goals that don't align with their values. They pursue validation instead of vision. They collect key after key, wondering why nothing clicks. But what if the issue isn't with the door, or even the key, but with the focus? What if you've been chasing the wrong doors because you never paused to ask which one is yours? Having the right key doesn't mean you avoid hard work. It means your hard work is targeted. It means you're investing your energy into mastering the mindset, discipline, and tools required for the door that is meant for you. That's what makes preparation powerful. It's not general, it's intentional. The more you refine your focus, the less energy you waste on trying to be everything to everyone. Instead, you become exceptional at something that matters deeply to you. This doesn't mean you ignore learning or avoid growth. On the contrary, it means you pursue depth over breadth. You choose mastery over mediocrity. You stop being impressed by noise and start being motivated by nuance. You dig into your craft, your purpose, your mission, because you know that the right door doesn't require you to become someone else. It requires you to become fully yourself. One of the most liberating realizations you can have is that you don't need to compete with anyone else. You're not behind, you're not missing out. You're simply on a path that requires your key. And once you understand that, comparison loses its power. You stop measuring your progress by someone else's metrics, and you start focusing on becoming the person who's equipped to walk through your specific door. There's peace in knowing you don't need to force what's meant for someone else. There's power in knowing you only need to sharpen the key that already belongs to you. That key might be patience. It might be creativity. It might be resilience, communication, leadership, empathy, or strategy. Whatever it is, it's your responsibility to refine it, because the opportunity you're waiting for isn't waiting for someone who knows everything. It's waiting for someone who's ready for that thing. The right key doesn't just open the door, it fits it perfectly. It doesn't jam, it doesn't need to be forced, and when you find it, things begin to align. You experience clarity, you feel momentum. You begin to recognize that this is what you were preparing for all along. not to open every door, but to open your door. So the next time you feel behind because you haven't done what everyone else is doing, remember, you don't need to do everything. You need to do your thing well. You need to stop chasing quantity and start cultivating quality. And when you do, the right door will open, not because you tried harder than everyone else, but because you were prepared in a way no one else could be. Don't get lost in the noise of too many keys. Find your key. Refine it, honor it, trust it. That's how doors open, through alignment, not through accumulation. Intuition is the compass to your door. In a world where data, logic, and strategy often dominate the decision-making process, it's easy to overlook one of the most powerful tools you already possess, your internal guidance system. Your intuition isn't a random feeling or vague instinct. It's the result of deeply internalized patterns, life experiences, values, and observations. And when you learn to listen to it, trust it, and act on it, it becomes a precise compass pointing you toward the door that is meant for you. We're trained to seek certainty from external sources, approval from others, advice from experts, metrics, and milestones. And while all of those have their place, they cannot replace the role of inner clarity. The truth is, nobody knows your alignment better than you do. Nobody feels what you feel, sees the world exactly as you do, or knows your inner drive with the same depth. That means the path you're looking for can't be fully mapped out by anyone else. The door that belongs to you can only be recognized by you, and your intuition is what alerts you when you're near it. Sometimes that signal comes as peace, sometimes it's a spark of energy, a sense of familiarity, or a quiet voice that says, "This is it." Other times it's discomfort, tension, or an inner resistance that tells you, "This isn't right." When you ignore those signals, out of fear, doubt, or the pressure to conform, you drift further from your alignment. But when you start to respect and respond to your internal compass, you stop chasing every direction and begin to follow the one that leads to purpose. Intuition isn't magical, it's learnable. It's developed by practicing self-awareness, stillness, and reflection. You strengthen it every time you pause before acting, every time you evaluate your emotions honestly, and every time you choose alignment over impulse. Like any skill, it sharpens through use and dulls through neglect. The more you trust it, the more accurate it becomes, and over time, it stops being a whisper and becomes a confident guide. One of the most dangerous things we can do is outsource our direction to everyone else. When you depend too heavily on what others think you should do, you lose the ability to hear what you must do. You stop trusting your instincts and start second, guessing everything. That's when hesitation creeps in. That's when you walk through doors that drain you, simply because they looked good on the outside. But no amount of outside validation can make an unaligned door feel right on the inside. To follow your intuition, you must first create space for it to speak. That means slowing down, stepping back from the noise, and learning to be still. In stillness, you get perspective. In quiet, you hear what urgency often drowns out. Your intuition doesn't scream, it speaks softly. And if your life is too cluttered, too fast, too full, too reactive, you'll miss it. But when you make time to check in with yourself, to evaluate how things feel beneath the surface, your compass gets clearer. There's a difference between what makes sense and what makes you come alive. The right door often won't be the most popular or logical. It will be the one that speaks to your values, your talents, your deeper sense of calling. And intuition helps you recognize it, even when others don't understand it. It helps you navigate when things aren't black and white, when no one can give you a guaranteed outcome. It's what helps you take meaningful risks and walk away from safe, yet unfulfilling, options. Trusting your intuition also builds confidence, not because you always get it right the first time, but because you learn to stand by your choices. You learn from what feels off and refine your inner compass further. That kind of confidence can't be faked. It's grounded in experience, self-trust, and growth. It's what allows you to move forward with conviction even when the path is unclear. The door that belongs to you won't need to be forced open. When you're guided by your intuition, you'll feel it click. It may not be easy, but it will feel right. It may challenge you, but it won't compromise your core. That's how you know it's yours. Not because it's obvious to the world, but because it makes sense within you. So if you're searching for the next step, stop looking for a map. Start listening to your compass. Trust your inner signals. Honor what feels aligned, because the door that was meant for you has always been waiting. But only your intuition can guide you there.